Some long while ago, several Sufi stories were told that introduced a paradox. We've all journeyed very far since then, so let's see if in their retelling we've been able to solve this enigma, recognizing that we can only do so if we've already reconciled stillness and movement. The first story is about that great Sufi saint, Ghazzali, who goes on a pilgrimage with a number of his followers. As they approached the ancient town of Pokara, they came across a number of stalls, selling sweetmeats and all those kinds of snacks that people love to indulge in. But amongst them was a stallholder who sold kebabs, meat skewers, meatballs on sticks. As they approached the city gates, Ghazzali, to the very great surprise of all his followers, said, "I just feel like a kebab." And they were greatly surprised, because their master, the Sufi sheikh, did not eat meat. But when Ghazzali walked over to the stall, and the stallholder, who was a simple man who had never studied spirituality or indeed adhered to any other religions, just dedicating himself to making the best meatballs that he could. When Ghazzali purchased the skewer and bit into the first meatball, the stallholder fainted into a swoon. After a while, Ghazzali gently raised him to his feet and led him over to his group of followers. And he said to them, "I want to introduce you to my successor." The second story is also about a great Sufi saint who is on pilgrimage with a group of his followers. When they come to a certain town, and they find themselves in the marketplace, in the bazaar, stallholders all around, when suddenly a young man accosts the great Sufi sheikh and begins to denigrate his faith, speaking about Sufism, how he'd read all the books and he found that Sufis were charlatans and fakirs and magicians and not of worth. The great Sufi saint listened very carefully to the young man's tirade, and then he took a ring off his finger containing a rather large stone, and he said to the young man, "You see those stallholders over there? Take this ring and ask them its worth." When the young man came back and he was asked, "Well, what did the stallholders say?" The young man replied, "They only offered me a few copper coins for the ring." And then the great Sufi saint said to the young man, "Just around the corner from here, there is a jeweler who has been there for many years. Go, ask him the value of this ring. So the young man, after he fulfilled this task, came back, and the Sufi saint said to him, "Tell me, what did the jeweler say?" And the young man said that the jeweler had told him that this ring was of such value, even if he sold his shop and all that it contained, he would not have its worth. And the Sufi saint said to the young man, "You see, if you want to know the value of a gem, you seek a jeweler." And so it is with we Sufis. If you want to know the way of a Sufi, become a Sufi. So these two stories have implications. The first story implies that we've already arrived. The second story implies that we have to become. This is the paradox. How have you reconciled this paradox? Having already come to bring together in our daily lives the movement and stillness inherent in existence. How then do we reconcile this paradox of having arrived but forever becoming? How have you reconciled this? What is the place in us where they meet, just like stillness and movement meet in the moments of life? How have you reconciled this paradox of having arrived and becoming? Or perhaps this is just one of my ploys to keep me employed, so I can tell more stories. But maybe not. Let's see. Thank you.